This pepper beef is too damn spicy.
What are you talking about? This is good.
What's up, guys? Pepper Too Spicy. Hope you guys are doing alright. And in this video, we're gonna focus primarily on all of Leo's wall game, which is the thing that makes her the top tier, a top tier character in this game, and it also defines her playstyle really well. Besides the fact that she's well-rounded, her wall stuff is what makes her very unique. It's Leo's wall game and wall pressure, which is, you know, everything that has to do with attacking the opponent at the wall and neutral and getting them to be wall splattered and mix-ups and so forth. The entire wall thing with Leo is one of the best in the game. Leo's version of it, anyways. It's one of the strongest characters in the game, Leo, when it comes to attacking the opponent at the wall and controlling the neutral game and controlling space. The reason for this is that Leo has a series of many knockdown lows, which makes it very scary to block mid at the wall, but also that because Leo has the largest amount of wall splat moves in the game, I'm pretty sure, which amounts to 4-4-2, forward 1+2, down 4-3, quarter circle 4-3 plus 4, block 3, let's see, down back 1+2, 1, back forward 1+2 counter hit, up forward 1-2, up forward 1-1, kin K2, kin K3 forward technically, down back 3, block 2, up forward 3. Let's see what else. There's another one I'm thinking of. Oh, yo, counter hit with one slaying 1-4-1. Let's see. 4-4-1 plus 2 throw, which also was splats in the other direction. The back 1+2 throw. I mean parry. Let's see. I think that's most of the ones that are really necessary anyways. It's 4-4-3. Oh yeah, well, 1-2-1-1, 1-2-1-4. Oh, running 3, of course, forgot about that. Running 3. While standing 4-1+2 from a distance and down back 4-1 from a distance. But that's pretty much all the useful ones anyways. Those are all the wall splat moves that will connect on the opponent at the wall, and a lot of them are really safe. So that's one thing that's really scary about Leo, is that she takes very little risk in trying to wall splat you, such as all of her home moves are safe, and so is a 4-3, and forward 4-2 is only -10. So Leo has plenty of ways to get that wall splat. And if you want to just block mid at the wall, she has plenty of scary lows, which also make it very difficult to stay blocking mid at the wall because of these really scary low pokes and knockdown lows at the wall especially. And of course the addition of her orbital heal makes it really scary at the wall as well. And the thing that I want to say is that not only does she have so many wall splat moves, it's that not only does she have a way to mix it up, but that she has ways that control which ways that you're going to try to escape the wall, and that will make it very easy for her to pick an option to put you back at the wall. So Leo is very good at stuffing any anti-wall escape options mostly, which is, of course, there are buttons, and of course there is sidestepping, and of course there's trying to tech roll away as long as the combo at the wall ends. And because of this, she has a lot of ways to hard knock you down at the wall, which makes it very difficult to escape the wall. And that's the core of some of Leo's wall game, is not only she can put you at the wall a lot, she can force hard knockdown you a lot at the wall without sacrificing damage too much. This is thanks to the addition of like down back 2-2, also back 2 1+2. So the thing with back 2 1+2, it's very interesting, is because you can escape it like that. Normally, if you don't escape it like that, you face down and then it's a hard knockdown and you get like a free mix-up. But in that scenario, if you do tech roll out of it, you still have to face a mix-up because you're negative frames a lot, I think. And if you try to step away from the wall, down 4-3, quarter circle 4-3, and of course box stance block 3 will all clip you at the wall. And all of her stances both of her stances rather, and most of her neutral game tools are really designed to make sure that the opponent does not get away from the wall while also taking a lot of damage from the wall. So in the scenario, let's say that down 4-2 plus 3 is really integral to Leo's wall game, in my opinion. So the reason why down 4-2 plus 3 is really good is that not only is it not launch punishable, except like unfortunately here Kazuya can launch it, but most of the casts cannot launch this low poke once it's blocked. And if it hits, it puts you in a hard knockdown, and you get a guaranteed full crush down 4-3, but in the scenario where it just knocks them down or whatever, they actually cannot escape the wall again because now they're face down at the wall. And in my experience, you can go for the guaranteed damage, which is good, but also keeping them in this position, this hard knockdown in front of the wall, is really strong, because if they stay down, for example, because they're expecting me to do the second hit, then I can clip them with this, which is the orbital heal, which will do a lot of damage as well, and will keep them, well, not in that scenario, we'll keep them hard knockdown, but it'll still do a bunch of damage. And maybe I'll force them to get up, and if they get up again, I'm gonna do this again to them. So let's say they get up again, I'm gonna do this, boom, allow you to get up, do that again to you. Although he's blocking it really consistently, you have to wait for him. I do it again, and then this time I do this. You know, that time I'll do the low. And this low, by the way, is also really good at the wall. And the reason why this is really good is because it has decent-ish tracking. Like, it loses the side walks, but it beats most side steps. Because if you hit this at the wall raw, you get 2 guaranteed. So this is about 39 damage on its own. Oh no, it's one that's like 43 damage on its own, and that's really crazy because I didn't wall splat you at all. And I was still able to get away with this much damage, even if I didn't wall splat you. So in this scenario, you don't need to get wall splatted for me to do a lot of damage to you. But if I'm gonna do this to you, I'm just gonna go to the wall and just gonna crouch in your face. But actually, a better way to do it would probably be like this low poke into the full crouch mix-up, or you get hit by this into the full crouch mix-up. If I did this to you, and you see this full crouch, and you're aware of this move, you're gonna probably start ducking because, you know, you want to block this move because it's launch punishable. But if you start ducking, that's when I do a 4-3 to you, and that's when I do, you know, I do more damage. I get 50 damage instead, which is crazy. And not only that, a 4-3, which is this mid wall splat move, is safe on block. I believe it's like -9 or so. So do this to you, and you just lost because you tried to, you know, block low against the incoming full crouch sweeps, which was never coming in the first place. Also in this scenario, I could just continually put you into a hard knockdown at the wall like that. That does less damage, but I'm putting you back into the mix-up, so, you know, I'm constantly getting more and more better Okizeme position and better neutral game position for the future, sacrificing damage for it. But also, this, like I said earlier, you can escape that, but you still get put into a mix-up. So I can continuously still do stuff to you, even though that you are going to escape the stun. So in this scenario, I get your back to the wall somehow, via combo, via just pressure, via poking. The game ends up where your back is to the wall. And I'm going to get in your face, and you're like, do this to you. And that's really annoying, because you're going to get a lot of damage for that. And if you're trying to avoid that, you might duck. And if you duck, well, you're going to eat this, you know. So every option of Leo is, like, conditioned to get the opponent to start ducking at the wall. And this low is not that slow. It's not that fast either. So this is somewhat seeable, you know. It's definitely something that people can see, but they have to be really looking for it, you know. You need to be really sharp to see this low. And in the scenario that, you know, just because this move is out there, doesn't mean that, you know, it's gonna be used. If the opponent knows about this move, they might be expecting it early, and that's when you start hitting them with the mids and such. And continuously wall splatting them with that. But it's not the only low Leo can use at the wall, because Leo also has slap by 3. Full crouch down 4-3, like I mentioned already, which is in the unseeable category. This move is really fast. And it comes from full crouch, which makes it even more ambiguous. And even in this situation, I can also do other lows, because I have back 1+4, which is really good at the wall as well, because this move normally has really not so great range, so when it hits, when your back is to the wall, it's actually the perfect range where it'll connect, and this will actually give you plus frames, and then you can continue a mix-up from there. For example, if you tried to jab after this or something, I could do this, and that high crushes, and that'll be really easy for me to get hit in, and, you know, knock you down the wall, and then continue the vortex from there. Like I said, this knocks you down. I let you get up, and I do something else, like I wall splat you, I let you get up, and then I do this to you. I'll let you get up, and then I'll orbital heal you. You know, so on and so forth. Like, I'll let you get up, and then I'll do, like, a hell sweep. Like, it's so many things. And if you try to side roll, for example, then I'm just gonna do hell sweep still, and I'm still gonna do, like, course over 1, orbital heal, a lot of things I could still do to you if you try to side roll away from that. Also, that, I want to go back to this move. This move, when it counter hits, gives a free launcher at the wall. 67 damage, because this knocks down into a very... This move, particularly when it counter hits, leaves an interesting stun state where they are not able to block for 16 frames, but they count as crouching, so you actually cannot down forward to them. So instead, when they're at the wall, you do this, which does a lot of damage, of course. Actually, I think I can do something even crazier there. Ooh, 69. That's 1 more point of damage, but it's still pretty good. In that scenario, that's a lot of damage as well if I don't want to get this to counter hit. And, you know, there are ways out of the wall. There's, you know, you could sidestep out of the wall, right? That's one of the best options to escape wall pressure, is to just use your movement to escape the wall. And that's a good thing that any good player will tell you, is that you shouldn't try to fight your way out of the wall. You try to just use your movement, try to sidestep, try to just be patient and block, and eventually get out of the wall. But the more you step, the more I'm thinking, you know, alright, you shouldn't step anymore because I'm going to do homing moves on you. And Leo has more than enough home moves that are all really good, and they all wall splat. So, you know, trying to escape the wall via stepping may not be, you know, the easiest option, because, of course, I have all these wall splat moves. And the thing about Leo's wall splat moves, homing moves, is that they are kind of slow. I'll admit that. So, you know, there might be a time where they step early and then they are able to cancel it into a block. And then, you know, this is blocked and it's -9, so actually it's their turn now. But in that scenario, let's say that they're stepping and they're also blocking home moves, then I can just do Hell Sweep, because Hell Sweep also is pretty much a homing move, except that it's low. So, not only can you not really reliably sidestep block, but you can also have to worry about the low. So, you know, it's more than just a homing move, it's a mid or low homing move. So stepping it is not exactly the easiest way out of the wall. The orbital heal, though, is actually one of the best additions to the wall game. And the reason for that is because it creates a situation where the opponent does not want to stay on the floor. And the less they're on the floor, the more I get chances to wall splat them. And the more that they're on the floor, the more I get to orbital heal them. So the reason why orbital heal is very good, Falling Leaf actually I prefer to call it because that's the real name of the move, is that it hard knocks down on normal hit and regular hit. And when it hits someone who's grounded, by the way, it gives them a forced hard knockdown. So for whatever reason, if they're at the wall and they're grounded, let's say that you knock them down and they don't want to get up because they don't want to get tech trapped for something, then you do this to them, and you see how they flop up like that? That means that they got hard knockdown again. So that means they could not actually get up via tech rolling. And when they can't get up via tech rolling, your options are a lot stronger. So this means that, you know, they get up and they have to guess a mix-up. It's a 50-50. Either I do this to them, or I hit them with another orbital heal. Or who knows, maybe I'll just do a 4-3, you know, or a 4-4-2. You know, you're gonna have to guess, because I'm gonna do this right away to you. And actually, in some of these scenarios, a 4-3, if it was 4 ungrounded into down 4 2+3, is actually guaranteed. So that's extremely strong as well. So if let's go over what we've covered so far, is that if you try to step, I'm gonna home move you, and if you try to duck, I'm gonna hit you with as many mids that I have in my plethora. So of course we got this, and we got this, and we got this, and we've got this. And we've got block 3, of course, and we've got so many options. And that's not even going over. Oh, 3-2. I got probably 3-2-3 as well. So there are so many options here, and I'll talk even more about them, since this is the the videos where we're supposed to talk about them, right? So I've already covered this, which is obviously really, really good. The one thing you have to know about this move is that this does have really poor tracking. So if they try to step a little bit, this is going to whiff on them, and you just have to be aware about that. Especially if you try to do this when someone is in a position where they're able to tech roll, you want to be careful about that, because they can definitely escape it via tech rolling, because this move has no tracking at all. If they try to tech roll, remember that this is homing and this is homing, so it's a 50-50 mix-up again, even if they try to step away from the wall. To start with things though, in terms of other strings, let's talk about a move that I didn't talk about before in the general tutorial, which is back 4 1+2. Back 4 1+2 is a very peculiar move. It is a counter hit string, which means it's designed to get counter hits. That's the end goal of this move. It is I forget the frames of the first move, but it's safe into safe, and there's an automatic delay in this move. You cannot match this out any faster than this. And the second hit is a shoulder, which is surprisingly safe. This is, as far as I know, the only shoulder in the game that is actually 100% safe. Interesting about this move is that this move has 0 risk as long as it connects. What I mean by that is that you cannot interrupt this move, you cannot parry this move, you cannot step this move, and you cannot sidewalk this move at all. So this move is going to connect if the first hit connects, no matter what, pretty much. There is no way that the second move is not going to be on block. I think the only scenario where it might be beat is Yoshi might be able to flash in the middle of it, but that's the only character in the game that I believe can do that. And because there's an automatic delay, some people might want to press buttons in the middle of it because they think the move's over, and then they get wall splatted. So, because it's a counter hit confirmed like that. You cannot confirm the counter hit, but there's no reason to not go for the second hit because there's 0 risk to it. I mean, you could do this and you could scare them and be like, oh, the second hit's coming, and then that's when you start conditioning them to be scared at the wall. There are 2 moves in the game that about 3 strings in the game that do this for the opponent for Leo. There is down back 1+2, back 4, and 3-2-3. And these 3 moves all have very similar mix-ups to them. They're just different versions of said mix-ups at the wall. Of course, back 4, like I already explained, this move is a wall splat counter string. And if you do the first hit by itself, they might think, oh, when's that second hit coming? And then it's never coming, and you just do this. Or, you know, you hell sweep, or you throw them, or whatever you want to do. You know, you can just change it up here. That, of course, depends on whether the opponent's going to press buttons or not. And if they are pressing buttons, then just finish the string anyways. And it's only -9, so, I mean, you still have defensive options. You just can't move. And, of course, that's really going to work as well. And if they think they can step away from the wall if they're stepping a lot, like I said, you cannot escape this once the first hit connects on you. So, like, for instance, if you try to step, he's going to get hit. The opponent is, I mean, the AI is set to step after the first hit connects, and let's say it's on block even. Boom. And kaboom. Like, you cannot escape it at all. And that requires some homework, you know, to know that you can't escape the move at all. So if they know that they can't escape the move at all, they're not going to try to contest it. That's stupid. They're going to counter it, and they're going to get wall splatted. So that's why if you poke with this at the wall, I believe that's like -7 or something like that, it's still really, really good at getting the opponent to be scared, as long as they know the move is coming, you know. Let's say you do this, and they start stepping, down 4-3. Same thing. Other move that does this is down back 1+2, 1, and it's arguably better at it. It's just, you know, a little bit riskier, but it's more reward. It's easier to confirm through. Down back 1+2, 1, if I can do it, is 37 damage, and that's a really, really hit confirmable string. So no matter how much I delay this move, it's always gonna be confirmable. Come on. Wow. So you see the super long delay, and it's still like confirming. That's he's still set to block. He cannot block this at all. So the reason why it's really good is because of this, but also that it's a hit confirmable, you know, wall splat move. But also that if you poke with this, it makes the opponent really scared, because of just how much you can delay this move. They can always think that the second hit might be coming, right? You know, it's coming, and it doesn't come, and then you throw them, or something, you know? So, you know, you do this, then sometimes you hit it with it, sometimes you delay it, sometimes you don't. I believe it's -12 on block. First says -10, but if you do this, you know, and then suddenly this. You do this, and then a hell sweep. You do this, and then forward 4-2 anyways. Like, you know, the mind games continue, and they try to step, down 4-3, or hell sweep as always. And let's say you want to make this even heavier mix-up, down back 1+2, into Bach. And Bach is really good at the wall. Both of her stances are good at the wall. Reason for that is because Bach 3 is both a home move that wall splats, does a lot of damage, and is +9 on block. So opponent blocks, blocks this, they get a free mix. You get a free wall splat mix up here. So, like, let's say this, that, You can do this spin for free. You could do 4-4-2. It's a 50-50. It's a straight 50-50 if they block. If they block block 1 plus block 3, it's a really straight up like a 50-50 game where they have to really guess what's going to happen next to them. And that's really good. And if they didn't get hit by it, they blocked it, and you know that's still the same thing. If they get hit by it, great. You get a wall splat and you get a combo. And the thing is, you know, they see Bach and they might want to duck because of Bach 3, but then of course you got Bach 2. So I mean, like, it's all very, very relative to like how exactly they're gonna respond to certain things. So, and one of the crazy thing is that you can do down back 1 plus 2 down into Bach, and you can cancel Bach into full crouch, and you can do the full crouch mix-up, which I mentioned earlier. And some people already know that about Leo, like more savvy players. So you go down to Bach, and then you go full crouch, and then do a 4-3. You know, that's gonna be the thing that's gonna trick them the most, because they're gonna think, oh shoot, a low is coming, I've seen this before, here comes the full crouch sweep, and then boom, ball splat. The other string in the game that does this is 3-2-3, which is a Leo move that's not used too much. The reason for this is because the last hit is only confirmed if the second hit is counter hit, which is really good. Also, the last hit can just hit by itself because it's very, very delayable, like that. Like that. So very delayable, and this I believe is -6 and wall splatting. I mean, safe mid. So that means that it's a wall splat mid that's really good and very delayable. So it's very, very scary. Only thing is though that it's double high, so that means that you know you can obviously duck it early. But in this scenario, there's different kind of ways to make this even scarier. You can go 3-2 down into Bach, which creates another mix-up. The Bach mix-up, like I said earlier, or you can do 3-2-3 back into cancel, which is the only type of move. Well, the Kincaid stat step cancel, but this one's built in. The 3-2-3 back cancels the move into a spin, which makes it look like the move is coming out, but it actually cancels it into nothing. And that's a really, really great mix-up that creates a lot of hesitation. And this is really, really, really scary because, you know, you're like, oh, I thought the mid was coming. Now what's coming? Because I don't know what's going to happen next. And, you know, if you play against a really savvy player and they've seen the cancel too many times, then just finish the string. They're not going to expect you to finish it. And it's going to keep creating more and more and more hesitation. I mean, like, an example of, like, long-ass wall pressure would be, like that. I mean, sorry, like this, block, and then do the arm move to try to interrupt it, and they get wall splatted. So it's so many different options here, and that's just one of them. I think I talked about the orbital heal already. So, like, I mean, I don't think I talked about it in depth yet. So, like, the orbital heal, like I said, it forces them to be hard knockdown, right? But if you get it on regular hit, it's still really good, obviously, with its damage. But this is another 50-50 mix-up. 50-50 mix-up here, 50-50 mix-up here. Like, am I gonna do that? Am I gonna do that low again? Or am I gonna let you get up and then do orbital heal again? Or are you gonna stay down and I'm gonna orbital heal you again? I mean, like, if I hit you with this, am I gonna do a low? Or am I gonna just wall splat you straight up? Like, I can do this, and I'm just like, I'm gonna low you, or am I gonna finish the string? Like, it's so deep, the Leo rabbit hole when it goes to the wall game. And of course, another underrated thing that people don't know about is that Kincaid is also really good at the wall, because Kincaid 2, you don't even have to counter hit it. On normal hit, it's a wall splat, so who cares if it counter hits? If counter hit's great, but if he doesn't, whatever, you still get the wall damage. And of course, you can't really duck it either because, you know, Kincaid 3-4 also wall splats as well, so it's just as strong mix-up as it is mid-screen. And of course, you can't step Kincaid 2, because that'll still wall splat you. I mean, that'll still track you, so that's really, really scary as well. And of course, I could do one down into box stance and do some more pressure there. And then of course, I could do this. I could do this into that, which will wall splat you. I could do, well, not that, but you know, I could do this. I could do this. I could cancel this into that. Like, there's so many. Kincaid is also very, very versatile at the wall. It's something that people don't really expect, I think, because Kincaid is not something that is used at the wall too much in terms of as a mix-up. So when they see it at the wall, it's very like, you know, what is this? What is this? Like, I don't understand why is he doing Kincaid? Especially if I do something really creative like box dance Kincaid, and then, you know, there's a mix-up right there. It's still the same Kincaid mix-up. It's +8, higher mid mix-up. And there's like one low poke in there as well. Down 2 also really good at the wall because it creates +2 on block. Let's see, back 3-1, it's okay. Not really that useful at the wall. I don't really like that move in general, but if someone likes that move a lot, please let me know. 4-3 also does not wall splat. It's not a move that is particularly good at the wall, but it is 0 on block, so that's really nice. And knocks down on counter hit. You get like a mini combo. You can't do it there though. 4-2-1. Oh, this move, a forward 1-1, right? A forward 1-1 is safe and double high and it wall splats. A forward 1-2 is a stronger version, but it is unsafe, negative 13, I think. Oh, you get negative 14 the second hit, and it's stronger at its mid. So the problem with this one is the same problem that 3-2 has, and it's double high. So that this move actually can actually be ducked. Let's say, for example, they're ducking because they're expecting the low, and you wanted to wall splat them with this, then this might not be the case because they're already ducking it. But if they get up like early or something and you finish the string, you can wall splat them anyways. That's one problem of trying to wall splat them with high moves, is because it might duck on them. Also, you can confirm this a lot. So let's say you wanted to wall splat with them and they got hit, so you do that, and you can delay it quite a bit before it connects. Before you can't connect it anymore. Quite a bit, not entirely, but a decent amount. Let's see, what else did we talk about? Talk about that already. And of course, ouch. Jeez. And of course, there's also like really tricky stuff at the wall that's a little bit crazy. For example, you could be poking at the wall, and then you could do a move that seemed unsafe, but it actually wasn't. For example, 3-2-3, and let's say they tried to punish you, like a jab or something, because you know this looks unsafe. You know, to be honest, it looks pretty unsafe. So they tried to punish you, and then you down back 3, and then you wall splat them like that. And that's another crazy thing. I mean, that's like really like on a hard read, you have to know that's gonna work. But it is something that's definitely possible. It's just something that requires like a really good read. And of course, you can still, you know, just poke at the wall, bait something with a sidestep, and then sidestep 1+2. Like it's time I have 1+2, and then of course you have 1-2 back into Kin-K. Stuff like this is also really good in my opinion. That's just back 3-1 back into Kin-K. Like even if this stuff doesn't connect. Like this is a weird retreating motion. For example, this is a mix-up. Like 1-2-4 is the only thing that comes out of 1-2, right? So 1-2, 1-2, and then someone's like, oh shoot, the low is coming, and then you do Kin-K out of it, and it's like, huh, I thought there was a low coming, and they try to press a button or something, and then you counter hit them with Kin-K too, and that'll wall splat. So that's also really good. And of course, the full crouch mix-up can also be applied by doing stuff that leads you into full crouch, such as down 3+4, down 4 2+3, down 3. What are the moves? Of course, look forward 1, and so on and so forth for all the moves that put you back into full crouch to apply the full crouch mix-up. So I think one thing that I like to do is personally, I like to do this, then they expect them to get up, and then I buffer a running 3. And that's going to put them at +9 at the wall, and it's a free mix-up once again. So, and if they press the button, or they woke up with like an attack, or you know, they tried something that wasn't blocking, they're gonna get hit, and they're gonna die for it, because the only way they can get up is by holding back. So they can't really sidestep. They could try side rolling too, but you know, that's a niche situation. So in that scenario, if they want to try to get up safely, try running 3 at them, and then boom, they're gonna get wall splatted. This is actually a lot easier to buffer the running 3 compared to you know, from just neutral, because if you buffer running 3 from neutral, it's kind of harder because of the distance. But because you're this close and because you just came out of a move, you actually get a lot of time to buffer it into the running 3, which also, of course, you know, put them into the mix-up at the wall. And it's just so many good options, my goodness. So, you know, you just have to get a good read, honestly. This will come with experience, but once you figure out what your opponent is thinking, like how many times you've annoyed him with X move, I like to call it like debt, right? The more you use a move, the more your opponent is thinking about the move, right? Because the more a move is successful, the more your opponent, if they're smart, is going to be thinking about ways to counter that move. So, not many people know that this is going to be guaranteed twice at the wall, actually. When that happens, people actually who aren't familiar think that you're just spamming it because you're an asshole or something like that, right? And really, they'll start blocking low. So from this scenario, they could, you know, they could block another one. That's guaranteed. But in that scenario, don't do it, and just do like wall standing 2 or something like that. and you know the mix-up continues, the wall pressure continues, and so on and so forth. So you know you have to be aware that, let's say I've done this twice, now they're gonna be thinking about that low. I've done this like 3 times with the wall and it's been successful. Maybe this time they're gonna block it. So you have to be good on a read. You know, you have to be thinking like what exactly is your opponent thinking about when it comes to these wall moves that you're trying. You know, are they gonna block? Are they thinking about a mid or are they thinking about a low? Or if they're not thinking about, if you don't think they're thinking about either, maybe you can mix it up even harder. You know, maybe you just don't do the high reward moves and just stick to poking and just do like a very basic kind of wall game with just, you know, pressure poking, and then, you know, 4-4-2 at some point. And you know, maybe you've been using the same moves too much, maybe you switch it up, maybe use back 4-1+2, maybe use 3-2-3, maybe use down back 1+2-1, maybe use up 4-3 by itself, maybe just use, you know, like a running 3 or whatever, and just continue all the stuff there, you know, or just throw them, you know, at some point. That'll also be really useful. So pretty much like the thing that I mean, I've already talked about why it makes it so good, but the thing that makes it like really interesting is that there is no way out of this for sure. You pretty much have to guess and guess and guess and guess until you get a block, and then that point, that's when it stops at being a mix-up, and that's when it's their turn. If they constantly get hit, they're constantly getting put back into the mix-up. So, you know, let's say I finished the combo right at the wall. It's 4-4-2, and back to 1-4, and it took hold, and they thought I was going to down 4-2+3, and I hit them, and I lost with the down 4-3, and then I put them back into the wall, and they guess again. And from here, this time I do down 4-2+3, and then, you know, they got knocked on the wall. They do the guaranteed stuff. They get up again. This time do 4-4-2. Like, you know, it's they're constantly getting put back at the wall. And it's a series, it's stuff that you have to do on a guess because you're at the wall, your movement options are so much limited. And even if they weren't, Leo has 2 ways to track you, low or mid, that are going to stop you. Actually, 3 ways technically. Full crouch down 4-3 tracks really well as well. So many ways to stop you from stepping, stop you from moving. So at this point, it's all about like, what does the opponent want to block? What do they want to avoid? And how do they get out? So once you have a good experience and grasp of that, you can be really, really deadly at the wall with Leo because you can just kill people without even having to combo them because they just keep getting put back into the wall. And every time they lose the mix-up, they lose like 1/10 of their HP, like guaranteed, because like the reward from the wall stuff is just really, really, really strong. You know, a combination of the Orbital heal, down 4-2+3, you know, full crash down 4-3, and all that stuff is not even combo starters, and they're all gonna do so much damage even without being combo starters. They can really rack up damage really quickly. Other thing I want to mention is that the Rage Drive, of course, is a move that gives plus 13 if they block it at the wall with guard, so that means that they can still block and duck and such forth. But they can't pretty much do anything, otherwise they'll get counter hit. There are a lot of different things you could do. You could apply the same old wall mix-up like you've always been doing, like you just do this and then just do this right away. Do this and do this right away. You do this and, you know, other stuff. There's some really, really creative stuff that I like to do that might be a little bit too crazy for most people, but I like to do stuff like short empty jump into full crouch down 4-3, empty jump into that, empty jump into this. I like to do like which calls that into shoulder. I like to do this big jump into throw. What's that big jump? It's actually kind of hard to do. Something like that. There are a lot of different things you can do here. Also, one thing that I didn't mention that also is really, really tricky is there are 2 enders at the wall which are the most common. The third one is less common to use because it requires certain spacing at the wall. But basically there is this, there's full back 1/4 King K 3-4, which is going to be your primary ender at the wall most of the time. And then there's back 1/4 King K down 1+2. Now the reason why wall standing 1+2 is the better ender for damage, but it's not always the best ender, is because it actually has a worse hitbox. So that means that when you do that, actually, it makes it harder to hit. So this can be very inconsistent, actually, especially if it hits at a side wall or something like that, like here maybe. Like, this is not gonna hit, right? See, example, that didn't hit there because it's awkward angle. and that's why it's not always used too much. The other reason why this is not used too much is because sometimes this actually, this does not give good Okuzemi afterwards, because the recovery animation while standing 1+2 is not as good as King K34, so you have less time to apply a mix-up. So this is only really good for ending the round. However, it has like secret tech to it. The secret tech is that if you sometimes when this hits at certain angles, let's say about here maybe. Yeah, right. Oh, not there actually. See, it's super random. There we go. It actually camera switches, and that's gonna create a lot of problems for the opponent because they're gonna have to start blocking the other way. And that's really, really, really annoying. Also, sometimes you pass over them like that, and this makes it really hard to tell what move you're gonna do. You know, like that was really, really, really hard to see because of the camera switch made it really awkward. So, all really, really confusing. Also trying to get the third variation. Maybe this. There we go. So in that scenario, actually, if I did it slower, I did it too fast, I'm back turned. In that scenario, I could actually do some back turn stuff. So, you know, I can actually like trick the opponent into getting the back turn, and then just do, you know, some stupid shenanigans where my back is to them, and they don't know that. They're like, what the hell? Why is he back turned? And then I do some random shit that will be like, what? What are they doing? You know, like how did he get behind me? Like a back turn hot kick or something like that. Although it's kind of being weird right now. See, like that looked like it was back turn, but it wasn't. So this is like, there we go, that's back turn. So it's kind of random. I don't even know when it's gonna work. Like I have an idea of when it happens, but I don't know for sure. So when that happens, it's like a even deeper 50-50. It's like less than a 50-50 because it's like you're not sure whether it's a random scenario. You're not sure whether you're gonna get back turn or not. So if the 1+2 doesn't kill, you get an additional mix-up, and you're not even sure what kind of mix-up it could be. Like you obviously have to be ready for it, but you know when wall sliding 1+2 is gonna connect, that there's a chance of it being back turned. So you're like already kind of prepared for it, but the opponent might not be. So that's even scarier. The other thing I want to mention is that you can actually go behind the opponent and do some shenanigans. So when that connects and they do a tech roll, you can jump behind them and do some shenanigans there. Maybe if you can do this. No, that doesn't work. It only works at Eddie. Anyways, you land behind them, and then you do like a shoulder or something like that. Actually, the ideal scenario would be to land behind them and do like back turn 1+2. There we go. That'll work. Might be only if they sidestep, if they tech roll left. If they tech roll left, actually, this is going to be really good. Yeah, something like that. That's going to be really confusing. Also like that, that's really good too. If you cancel it into sidestep and then jump over them. Or you can do like, oops. Like that into this. Like that's really, 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 really tricky right there. That's a little bit advanced, a little bit too crazy, but you know, it's definitely something that's possible. That's what I'll say about that. Hell, you could even do like fucking, let's say, that. Whoops. Like that. Oof, man, that is tricky stuff, I must say. Very tricky stuff. And it's all just down the rabbit hole, you know, Leo in Wonderland. So many things that can be possible here. The Rage Drive, by the way, is wall slats from very far away. So no, as long as it'll connect on the wall, you get the wall splat. So from about here, wall splat, and I think even a little bit further from that, maybe about here, you still get the wall splat. So I can do a wall-to-wall combo here, and that's gonna be still wall splat. Pretty sure, anyways. Okay, maybe a little bit closer. There you go. There we go. It's 81, that's pretty much wall to wall. So, you know, if you're really far from the wall and you manage to get like a combo here, you know, you might want to think about like just ending with the 91, my goodness. So if you have rage and you lost and you landed a combo but you're far from the wall, you know, use your judgment and your experience to figure out where's the wall. You know, can I reach it? And if it's really far away, you might want to just try for the rage drive anyways. And if it connects, good. You just got like a lot more damage, and you got the wall position as well. So you can use it at the end of a screw when you're far away from the wall, and you might be able to get some crazy stuff too. Also, the wall splat, the rage drive, re-wall splats on light wall splats. So any launcher into the wall, such as down 4-2, Bach 2, sorry, down back 3, Bach 2, hop kick, delayed hop kick, any kind of like, you know, like a uppercut, like a big, like sends them upwards move, they're gonna get re-splatted by rage drive. And that's gonna turn a light wall splat into a hard wall splat, and that's really good. Also, any, I believe any mid-air screw attack into the wall will also cause this scenario. Let's see if I can create this again. Well, obviously, from that scenario too, if I screw it in front of the wall, it'll also wall splat. Like that, of course. The most prominent example I know of this is that Kin K2 will wall splat, and then, well, that was too close. I mean, not close enough. That'll wall splat, and then you can do that, and then that'll re-wall splat as well, so you get more damage off of that, more mileage and such forth, which is all really good. Otherwise, the rage drive. When you hit with the rage drive raw and it didn't wall splat, you get a running mix-up, which is nice. So you could do like, you know, the slide, or you could do like just a shoulder charge, which wall splats, I think. I'm not sure. I think it does. Or you do like the cross chop, and that wall splats as well. But you know, you get a running mix-up, and that's really nice. Otherwise, I think that's pretty much all we need to talk about with the wall. Going over in, you know, in summary, is that the wall for Leo is a playground, right? It's a rabbit hole. It's a party. It's a toy store. It's Christmas morning, whatever you want to call it. It's just like so many mid options. A lot of them are homing. A lot of them are safe, so you can't step them. You can't duck them. They do a lot of damage. They're hard to see. It's not. They're some of them are seeable. 3 of them have built-in delayed mix-ups that create a lot of hesitation. 2 of them, well, not 2 of them, but yeah, actually 2 of them are hit confirmable. Down back 1+2-1 and up 4-1-2 are both hit confirmable. Box stance and Kin K stance both create decent wall mix-ups, especially box stance more so creates a good wall mix-up. Hell sweep and down 4-3 and you know the other home moves are really good at keeping the opponent staying at the wall, making sure they don't step away from it. Down 4-2+3 and orbital heal are really good at creating 50-50 guess mix-up at the wall, because this is, you know, after you get put into that position, you get put into a 50-50. If you get hit by this, you get put into a 50-50, and if you're grounded, you can just keep spamming that on somebody. And of course, I have safe moves that wall splat you, counter hit tools, whatever. Also, if I parry with this, back 1+2, parry with that, and that creates a wall splat as well. That's 2-2, by the way, to confirm out of that reversal. Well, it's not a reversal, it's a parry, actually. Which also wall splats, conveniently. And of course, there is the wall throw, which I didn't show at all, surprisingly. Which is, of course, this. And the best thing you can do out of this is this. There is a third scenario, actually, where, actually, why did I do less, actually? Hold on a second. Oh, there we go. It just didn't calculate it. That was weird. Is that a glitch? Oh, it's weird. It didn't calculate one of the hits. That's weird. This should be doing more. It should be doing 80. That's really weird. That's not calculating that. Anyways, so regardless, it doesn't really matter because it still does it really in game. If you're actually farther from the wall and you decide to do, you know, the wall throw, you can still get, you know, let's say you're a little bit farther from the wall and you can't really like get the normal ender because you're too far, right? Because I can't like do that. I can do that. But, you know, sometimes I'm a little bit too far, and then the thing will mess up. So, because there's not enough wall stun. So actually, the best thing you could do is actually this. Ooh, that's good. That resplats, basically, because it's a little trick I learned in the last few months of Tag 2 was that thing where forward, forward, forward 3, when done at a distance on a wall splat, will actually resplat it. And most of the time, this is the only kind of scenario you use it in. Forward, forward, forward 3, actually unscrew is also pretty decent at resplatting when you get pretty close to the wall, such as this. That's pretty decent as well to get the wall splat to wall carry. Also, up 4-1-2 is good at wall carry against unscrew, so is 1-4. So up 4-1-2, forward, forward, 4-3, and 1-4 are all really good when the opponent is screwed and they're close to the wall. That'll actually give you enough time to get to the wall, and it'll turn a light wall splat into it'll hard wall splat basically. So, you know, if I screw in front of the wall, like with this or something, like that'll give me a wall splat and I can do damage, you know, etc, 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 which is good. And the last thing, which is the crazy thing, is, let's say, this. Which is, this. Okay, so the back 1+3 / back 1+2+4 parry on punches actually throws the opponent into the wall, and you get a combo sometimes. Sometimes. It's inconsistent. Let's see if I can do it. What has to happen is that I need to parry you into the wall, and I need to sidestep enough so that the camera switches. But in that scenario, look at the damage here. It's still really good. 45-52. So I just did 52 damage to you for a parry. So that's really crazy. It wasn't even reversal either. This parry, when done against punches, actually cannot be reversed. It cannot be chicken. So this is inescapable if you punch into this. So if you punch into this, actually another option you can do is just orbital heal into down 4-2+3. I don't think that's guaranteed. Let's see if they wait a little bit, and then there you go. Actually, that is guaranteed. You cannot escape that because that's a hard knockdown into the backwards position, and you get put into a mix-up. So that's probably the best option if you don't want to try for the combo, is do that, which is wait for them to fall a little bit, orbital heal, then down 4-2+3. That's about, what is that? That's like 45 + 16, 61 damage, and they get put at the wall. So that's the optimal thing you can do instead of trying to do the combo. And that's insane. You know, that's honestly insane that I can do something like that. Ideally, though, if I manage to land the combo, that's 77 damage, and that's really insane too. Also has wall carry out of it, which is stupid, but you know, it's a hard combo. So when you're back to the wall, you can actually kind of try to fish for that parry. I wouldn't try to do it too much. Do it on a read, because if you just keep trying to spam parry at the wall and they're not getting it, you're just killing yourself because you can't block during the parry, obviously. So, you know, you do it on a good read. Just don't try to spam it, you know. You could also try to just, you know, use movement to get out of the wall, or 4-1+2. The thing about this throw, though, of course, that it's really good is that if this throw is broken, you still get the position change. So even if the throw is broken, I would still end up in this position where their back is to the wall. It's just that we would be a little bit further out, and of course they wouldn't get thrown. So against a really, really strong player, if your back is to the wall, they know they're going to use they know you're going to use 1+2 throw. But even so, you can use that to get the position change. So, you know, use it to get them to break it, so you get the position swap anyways, and that's really strong. And you have the 2 armor moves too, which are good. I forgot to mention the back 1+2 is also really good at wall splatting. You know, you could use this in case someone's trying to fight their way out of the wall. Also, this move, really good for making sure that someone's trying to not fight their way out of the wall. If they do try to fight their way out of the wall, they're going to get hit by this, and that's a wall splat. So that's all really good too. Otherwise, yeah, in this vid I explored all the different kind of options she has for wall splatting and how it creates like a vortex. And, you know, it's taking me this long to explain it, but a vortex is a certain scenario in a fighting game where you get put back into the mix-up after losing the mix-up. So, you know, it's all very, very strong. Nothing is guaranteed, except for a couple things, you know, like down 4-2+3 and full crack down 4-3, and combos and such forth. But it's all about getting the good read, and if you can get the good reads, you can kill your opponent really fast at the wall. Doesn't matter how good they are at movement, at reactions, at whatever. If they guess wrong, and they get put back into the mix-up. So this thing kind of eliminates like player skill gap, kind of like you could win just off of this. It's not something you should rely on. Like, you should be good without this. But, you know, if you want to win, you know, with you know, nothing holding nothing back, you know, that wall stuff is really easy to abuse. Well, some bad things that I would say about it is that you have to note that down 4-2+3 can get predictable if you spam it too much at the wall. It is launchable by Josie and Kazuya, I don't know if anyone else can launch it. Eddie surprisingly cannot launch it. You know, you have to be sure about the options. Oh, Spring Kick is also pretty decent against Leo getting out of the wall, but in that scenario, you just have to bait it. If you can bait out the Spring Kick, you can launch it. And, you know, that's obviously really, really risky, so, you know, that even though, like, for example, if I tried to do an orbital heal, I would get hit, right? But let's say I know you're gonna Spring Kick, boom, you know, and if you're not gonna Spring Kick, you know, you stay down, then I can start doing orbital heal on you. But, you know, if I know you're gonna Spring Kick right away so you can get out of the wall, I can still kill you for it. I can even sidestep that. And just do, like, back turn stuff. You know, so everything has an option. They're like, as good as some things may be to get out of the wall, such as, like, back kicks and, you know, spring kicks and such forth, there's an option for everything. Leo has pretty much every kind of option covered. Side rolling is decent too, but once again, you're on the ground longer, and I still get to walk over you. I could just, like, you know, forward dash over you and make sure you're not doing anything, and you try to get up kick, orbital heal you, counter hit, you know, whatever, or, like, just down for you, or 4-4-3, or you're staying down that, or, of course, over 1. Like, a lot of ground hitting moves too, so it's not like I can't do anything you side roll. So, everything is covered, but it depends on what you do when they do something. You have to know which one they're doing, you have to make a good educated guess, a good read, and, you know, if you don't need to make the read, you want to show your options first. Go with what you think will hit. And once you hit enough times with certain moves, that's when you can start formulating how exactly am I going to open up at the wall the next time. And, you know, change up your options, see what works, see what doesn't, and just be careful about those characters that can really eat those lows really bad and can punish some of the wall stuff like forward 4-2. But of course, you don't have to risk yourself with the wall because you got up 4-3 and down 4-3 and such forth. Down 4-3 is faster, but it is -9. So if you block that, your turn's over. Of course, 4-3+4 is slower and does more damage, but it's -5. So that means that actually you can still do something after it's like parry or something like that, or sidestep or something, but it's slower. So that's that. With that being said, I think that's all I have to talk about with Leo's wall game. Covered most things with her, and if I haven't, please let me know what's up, and we'll discuss it and fix some things or whatever. Or if you have questions, just shoot me a question, comments, and such forth. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.